And we are live. So morning everyone, to all of our viewers. So awesome to have all of you here. And I really do mean it. Those words aren't just part of a ritual that I just said. It really is awesome to be in this space, to be offering hope and light and love to everyone out there that may be going through a tough time. I will have with me this morning Tabitha as well.
Morning, everybody. Kenneth and I are so excited to be able to join you guys on this beautiful Saturday morning, just to again give you hope and share with you that you're not alone, that there's a wonderful community of ladies out there who are waiting to embrace you and accept you and support you. So we had another phenomenal session this morning at 6 o'clock with our Wow Ladies. Some hard conversations, even have a tissue over here from some of the stories that were told this morning. But yeah, what was your biggest takeaway from this morning sessions with the ladies, Kenneth?
This morning I didn't have any tissues. I just swallowed my my tears. Often I bite the inside of my lip or my mouth here when it's very emotional like that. And I think it was an emotional experience in a very positive way. So we had a new lady joining the group this morning, absolutely devastated. And I think she has just like lost hope. And everybody just rallied around her, protecting her like mother hens would get the chickens in. And that was really a profound experience for me to see that there's such a huge amount of love in these meetings and a deep-seated appreciation for the work that we're doing, allowing the safe space to develop and become exactly what it has been this morning. I think that's my biggest takeaway, Tabitha. Yeah.
And I think it was just, there was two things that stood out for me. Was obviously one of our really phenomenal leaders who said, she remembers that first session she joined, where the first 3 or 4, she just cried and cried and cried, and was just like, she could resonate with these women. Like, there's other women out there feeling the betrayal, the disappointment, and where she is now, I mean, she's just, it's amazing, the progress and the process that she's been through. And then one of the other phenomenal ladies where, she had been married for many years, and where she was just sharing that, when she was hoping her husband and her would be at a very different place right now, like retirement, they've had this phenomenal life together, and her picture looks so different now. But then she ended off that share with just saying, but what I am becoming now, I like that. And it's beautiful. So, even though sometimes we envision a perfect life or a perfect picture in our head with our partner, different phases, the kids are out of the house, or we're just having kids. And now that whole picture is distorted and it's changed because of the betrayal and the porn. And now she's able to say, my picture doesn't look the way I thought it was going to look, but I still like the picture that God is creating. And I think that that's why these groups are so phenomenal for me, because I think like this the morning, the lady who's so devastated, it's that first raw acknowledgement, my husband is doing this, that so many people could tell her today, your picture doesn't look great today. But you know what? I can promise you, your picture is going to be beautiful at the end of this journey. And that for me was just powerful.
Tabitha, you remember when we did that presentation, that workshop at that big company, Peer at Echo Health, friends of the organization?
Yes.
We did the presentation there that morning.
Yes.
And I had a mirror. Will you tell that whole story? Will you share with the people what happened that morning? I think they'll enjoy
So
that.
Kenneth was trying to do a lot of practical things that day, which I think was really great and out of the box for Kenneth. Because he's always nervous when he does these presentations. I know he looks super calm today and in control, but inside he's like, ugh. So on the day he had a mirror and he wanted to sort of shatter it with a hammer to say, that this is sometimes what happens to life. Like, it's a beautiful mirror, and life is like a hammer. It comes and shatters it. And then he wanted the mirror to break into 1,000 pieces, but this mirror just wouldn't break. And he was beating the mirror and beating the mirror and beating the mirror, and the mirror just stayed. And someone just said, just throw it on the floor. And he threw the thing on the floor, and it broke into 1,000 pieces. But then he had this beautiful mosaic craft thing that him and his kids had done together, and they built obviously lots of pieces of glass together and different colors. And he was basically just trying to say that even though from that broken glass you are able to build something beautiful when you put it together, and actually that piece was actually much more beautiful than just the flat piece of mirror that he had. So sometimes our life is shattered into thousands of pieces, but when we put it back together and we put a little bit of different types of things back into it, that picture is actually way more beautiful than what we thought. So it was a really great illustration with lots of laughing, obviously, to get the mirror to shatter, but eventually it did. So at least the moral of the story did come across at the end, Kenneth.
Yeah, the title of this message this morning is Transforming Pain into Power, a journey of healing and growth. And what we experienced this morning was an absolute testament to that. It just showed that it's possible that we can grow from the deepest, darkest experiences of our life, and allow our light to shine as we receive light. I think in a meeting like this, there's a transference that's taking place. People bring their darkness and they receive light. And over time, that light accumulates in a group like this. It accumulates in each and every single one of the vessels that is in that meeting. And when somebody brings a whole bunch of big new pain to the meeting, it's almost like we don't even know how the meeting will go, but we just allow the light to shine. And it shines into that darkness, and it gives hope, and it alleviates the pain, and it. I mean, the ladies also said this morning exactly that picture of the mosaic, that putting the pieces back together it was actually the person who I've become is a better person than what I was before the time. And also, Tabitha, they also spoke about the massive sense of loss and grief and grieving that goes along with the loss of a partner. Obviously, when you marry somebody, you think everything's going to be happily ever after. Coming close to Valentine's Day in 4 days. I mean, there's a lot of people out there who had these amazing dreams, or maybe you still have a dream for Valentine's Day, and stuff is going to be revealed just before Valentine's Day or after that, that would shatter your mirror into a million pieces. That could happen. That's potential. That's the potential. It's actually likely in our day and age and in this society that would happen. Not to put water on anybody's flame, but I mean, just to know that these things happen, our mirrors will get shattered, and we can be more beautiful at the end of such a journey, right?
Yeah. And I think for me this morning it was just so phenomenal. And that's what I really want to encourage the ladies out there, that there is people out there that you can reach out to. And I think that was something that resonated with me this morning, where so many women said, I found a safe place. I found a place where I'm heard, because so many people feel unheard, right? Because it's like this massive bomb has exploded in your home. This realization, your dreams are shattered, what you thought your relationship was built on. Like, then you start, how women are, like over analyzing. You sort of go back to that first date where you asked all the questions and he did all the things. And then you're like, okay, so was this a lie from the beginning? And I think that's what's so heart-wrenching, so devastating, especially if you've been married for a few years and you've got kids. You've built all your decision making on a foundation that's now being shattered out underneath you, and I think the sad part for me is that so many of these women felt that they're not heard, because when it comes to light, their husbands are just like, okay, we spoke about it, let's move on. But that's not how it works, right? I mean, it doesn't just it's not a switch that you put on and off and be like, okay, thanks for telling me. Like, I forgive you. Tomorrow we're going to wake up and we're just going to go on. It's really the opposite. Like, everything comes tumbling down. And I think that this morning it was so wonderful to hear that these women said, there was no platform I could feel heard. I couldn't speak to my family. I didn't want them to change their perception about my husband, but I can come here, I can show up, I can WhatsApp on the WhatsApp groups, I can share how I'm feeling, I can say I'm angry, I can feel I'm sad. And, that thing of being happy, people obviously associate that with feeling great, but there's a great book that we read on our program where the lady says, happiness is feeling. So feeling sad, feeling disappointed. You know, happiness is a form of expression. So it's not about just feeling, I'm on top of the world, you know. And I think that that's what our platform allows these women to feel, a place where they can cry, they can laugh, we can share things, you know, and everybody walks away knowing that there's a place of safety. And I think that that's the most important thing. And like you said, leading up to Valentine's Day now, you know, a lot of women have high expectations, you know, waking up with the flowers and we're going to go for a romantic dinner. And for many people this week coming, it's not going to be like that. It's that anxiety of maybe I've ended a relationship, or I've just figured out my husband's in another relationship. There's infidelity, there's betrayal. So, you know, this week of love, if I can put it that way, you know, all the schools are doing stuff, and there's every shop that you walk into, it's red and it's pink and it's hot and it's thing, and you walk in and you just feel, I'm so unappreciated. I'm not loved. I don't have anyone that values me. And, you know, we want to encourage these women to say, you are enough, that everything is already inside of you. You are completed. Everything else needs to complement you. So if you're feeling that way this morning, you know, Kenneth and our heart is to let you know there is a place where you can go to, where there's phenomenal women who will rally around you. And even if this Valentine's Day isn't going to look exactly how you want it to be, we just want you to know that you are sufficient, you are loved, and that you are enough. And that is our greatest call this morning to you guys.
Yeah, absolutely. Last thing I want to just quickly focus on, that was also a theme in the meeting. I always point to this door behind me, and I see you also got a door behind you.
Yeah.
And if you're a human being, you have a door behind you. We all have doors. And behind those doors, often there are lots of skeletons and stuff in. So now your husband's betrayal and his porn abuse and his infidelity and his prostitution, whatever, all of that spilled out. It came out of the door. But guess what? That is his stuff. That is his stuff. And Tabitha, I don't know how you would feel about that. Maybe we're going to disagree, and that's fine. I would appreciate the bit of discussion around that for a minute or two. I don't think it is the responsibility of the wives, of the ladies, to go into that door of the husband's past and go pick everything apart and go figure out what is going on there. I think that is his responsibility. And that's my personal opinion coming out of the program. We work for months on end to win over the trust of the guys on the program. Months. You know, it takes me as a man who understands men months to get them to open up the door and to bring all of their stuff, put it on a tray, and know exactly what is all the stuff that has happened there and what it means, you know. And for a wife to just go into that door at the back there and open all of that up, I mean, I would feel incredibly violated. That would be very difficult for me. So I just wanted to know your thoughts randomly on that, from a lady's
brutal,
perspective.
honest thought, right? Brutal, honest response I'm going to give you. So I think, and I hope all my supporters out there will be giving me a thumbs up for this. I think the natural thing for any woman is when you hear my husband's having an affair, my husband's watching porn, you want to rip everything to shreds. So the first thing what you want to do is you want to go back and you like start digging into everything. You like, so did you lie to me? You said you loved me. You said this is going to be forever. You promised me there was no one else in our life. So I think it's a natural response for a woman. And also remember, women are detailed, right? So I want to know, what was the color of her hair? How tall is she? You know, because the immediate thing is you want to compare yourself, right? Because now you're thinking, am I not enough? Am I not sufficient? What am I not giving you that you have to do this? And that's why for me, joining Grace Online and equipping myself in many areas of my life, you know, because my husband hasn't been unfaithful to me, but I've used this in many aspects of my life where I've been able to say, you know what, sometimes you have to take a step back and do introspection. And I think that that's what you and the rest of the team are doing is so phenomenal, that we're equipping these women to say, you know what he's done, nothing you could have done would have changed that. And I think that that's the biggest wow factor for a lot of women, to be like, even if he were perfect, he would have still done this. You can't control him. So we equip these women to say, you know, let us focus on you. Let's focus on what's going on in your heart, you know, past trauma in your life, because all of these things, you know, lots of times we've so focused on his problem and his addiction and what he's done wrong, because we want to fix him now, right? Because he destroyed our family, he destroyed our marriage. You know, I didn't do anything, I didn't make him do this. But then when you turn the mirror on yourself and you say, you know what, let me work on Tabitha, let me dig deep inside me. And we turn the focus away from the partner and we turn our focus on ourselves. These women receive so much healing and so much growth because they realize, you know, if I'm going to check his phone 5 times, if I'm going to question him, if I'm going to dig into everything, I'm driving myself
FBI agent.
crazy.
Yeah.
Like, you know, they like better than James Bond, these women, you know, the things that I've heard, I'm like, yes, I didn't even know you could do that, you know. But when you turn the focus away from your partner and the betrayal and what he's doing, because his behavior is not your responsibility. Even if you had to have a 24-hour guard walking with him, you're not in his mind. You can't sieve out what he's processing, you know. So when you turn that focus on you and you say, you know what, I'm going to work on Tabitha, I'm going to make myself the best version of myself, because my happiness is my responsibility. It's really not his. And they start to grow and they start to unpack their own childhoods and their own failures in their relationship. And they realize, like, you know what, I can do this better. I can be a better version of myself. And then the beautiful part is when the husband is on your program, Kenneth, and you guys are able to help him deal with his emotions and get to the root of this, because that's what you do. You're trying to find the root of the cause of why this person is doing that. And that's obviously our biggest goal, is to have the husband on your program working on himself, giving himself the best of everything, and the wife working on our program, and we're able to equip her to deal with this heartbreak, all of these things, because it also triggers things up in their past, and to get them to find the same highway, you know, and then ultimately to be in our program with Michelle and Kevin, who are phenomenal people in our team, who can then do couples counseling and bring them back together, get them on the same page. And that's why I think this program is just so phenomenal, because we have a great support system for the wives, for the husbands. We believe in marriages, but, you know, also sometimes it doesn't end that way, but then both parties walk away knowing what I don't want from my next relationship, or how I want to deal with the choices in my next relationship. So yeah, my response is we will go into that closet, but the quicker you can join the WOW share groups with the ladies, they're going to teach you better ways to spend your time, and you're not going to be driving yourself crazy, because, you know, that brings more sadness and more disappointment. So, you know, the best thing is focus on yourself, focus on your own recovery and on your own healing in this process. So my ultimate answer is, Kenneth, yes, you're right. We shouldn't be doing that. But I can promise you, every woman's first response is just to dissect what has actually happened. But the faster she can learn that there's better ways to deal with this devastation in her life, the better she will be in the long run. So that's why I want to encourage all those women out there that are busy dissecting their husbands and scratching in those closets. Join a WOW share group, go to info@Grace Online, find ladies who have been through this, who can help you take the easy road. You know, you don't have to suffer for the next 5, 8 years of your marriage. You know, there's women out there who can say, listen, I've been through that, I've done it. These are some of the tools, because it's such a big group of ladies. You know, there's someone in that group who you will resonate with and who you will connect with. So that would be my encouragement for all those ladies out there today.
So just to summarize and finalize, final statement, are we saying
Yes.
that you should not be interested in his past and his reasons for doing the things? No, we're not saying that you should not be interested in his reasons and in his past. We're just saying focus on yourself first, allow the process for him to figure out his own past and to bring that to you, and it will take some time. Give us that opportunity, and then obviously your husband doesn't have to join our program. He can join any other program outside there. We do this because we love people. We are like chock and block full. We've got 170 people in our program. So we only allow special people that is really serious about this program, not special people, but people who fit the specific process that we have. And the same with the ladies. We try not to, we can't help everybody. We can help some of the people. So like the starfish story, right? The boy walking on the beach, millions of starfish spilled out. And then the old man saying, what are you doing, boy? You can't help all these starfish. There's millions of them that's flushed out on the beach here. And he's like, but I can make a difference to this one. And he would throw it into the ocean. We can help certain people, not everyone. So awesome. That was a phenomenal discussion. We had a brilliant group. I think this video, I'll pin it to my Facebook. I think every single lady needs to look at this over and over, understand it, and definitely please do post your questions below in the comment section. Please like this video. Please share it if you're brave enough. Maybe
Yes.
this can just save a life and change your relationship for the better. Tabitha, I hope you have a fantastic day further. To our viewers outside there, I hope you have a phenomenal weekend. Remember, it's Valentine's Day. Don't forget that.
Yes.
Do something special. And yeah, that's it from us.
Thanks, guys. See you next week, Tuesday.
Thanks. Bye now.
Bye.